dear friend, I'm gonna try. Hopefully, this can really help a lot of people. Uh, if you are dealing with your infusion rate, remember this: your infusion rate, it express milliliter per hour. All right. So this milliliter per hour, you can call that as well as flow rate, pump rate. Now, or infusion rate. You can solve those questions either by doing volume over time, whenever the question asks how many milliliter per hours, and then you have a time. Example, infuse 100 milliliter over 10 hours. You have the time, this volume right there must be in the milliliter, and this time gotta be in the hour. But we're not gonna focus here, but we're going to focus on when to solve a milliliter per hours by using the dosage formula, which is also available in time quantity. All right. Now, for you to use this, they have to ask you milliliter per hour. All right. For you to use this, the question must ask how many milliliter per hour, or what is the infusion rate, or what is the pump rate, what is the flow rate. So milliliter per hour, that is the quantity of the volume that we are pushing through someone vein, but we are using a pump. All right. So this is the speed of the infusion. But do not confuse milliliter per hours with, don't confuse milliliter per hours with gram per hour. It's not the same thing. Do not confuse that with milligram per hour. Do not confuse milliliter per hours with microgram per hour. Do not confuse milliliter per hours with unit per hour. And do not confuse milliliter per hours with MEQ per hour. This is when students make a lot of mistakes. Their brain is so used to see hours. For them, anytime they see hours, they draw conclusion it's the same thing as a milliliter per hour. No. For you to use dosage to solve for milliliter per hour, the question must ask you how many milliliter per hours, or what is the flow rate, what is the pump, what's the infusion rate. I want you to understand that milliliter per hour, it's not the same thing as a gram per hour, milligram per hour, microgram per hour, unit per hour, MEQ per hour. So what are those stuff here? Gram per hour, milligram per hour, microgram per hour, unit per hour, MEQ per hour. Those are the specific units of medicine that we are given. The quantity of medication that we are giving per hours. All right? Because those meds come in milligram per hour. You cannot give milligram per hour, but you need to translate that in the way we're going to be able to give it. Same thing, if you have a liquid medicine that you have to give by mouth, and the doctor prescribes 500 milligram, because that medication it's a liquid, you cannot give 500 milligram. You have to give that liquid. But whatever liquid we're going to give is going to be equivalent to that 500 milligram. So gram per hours or gram per minute, all those stuff, dear friend, are the quantity, the amount of medication that we are giving. So milliliter per hours, it's the volume that we are giving through someone vein by means of the pump. All right. So do not confuse milliliter per hours and gram per hour. So if the question asking how many milliliter per hours you will be on your dosage. But if the question asks you how many gram per hours, how many milligram per hours, how many microgram per hours, how many unit per hours, how many MEQ per hours, right here, my friend, that question right there is going to ask you for your order. Your order now is different with that formula right there, because your order is dosage. Remember, we say your dosage is milliliter per hour, so we can call this dosage. That's why whenever we are looking for milliliter per hours, we are using a dosage formula. All right. But if the question asks gram per hour, milligram per hour, microgram per hour, unit per MEQ per hour, we are looking for your order. So your order is going to be dosage. You're going to divide that by quantity, multiply that by available. You got it? All right. So don't forget that one. So, but we know one thing, that your available and quantity always goes together. Together, that's what we call your concentration. Just remember, your order and your available have to have the same unit. Now that I have explained this, let's bring 10 exercises. Hopefully, this is going to make more sense. All right, we gotta get those stuff ready. So let's now bring those exercises, and then we'll see how we're going to do. All right, so this is, we're going to start right here. All right. So now, let me remind you right here, so there's no confusion. So if the question is looking for milliliter per hours, it means we're going to use dosage, which is going to be your order, available, time, quantity. But because we are looking at milliliter per hours, your order must be as well per hours. Your order must be per hours, and you gotta have the same unit as you available. If the question is not asking for milliliter per hours, all right, then we're going to be on the order side, which is gonna be dosage by quantity, then multiply by available. All right, let's look at this question here. What milliliter per hour? So you understand, because we asking for milliliter per hours, you know for sure you will be at the D side, which is your dosage. All right. Now your dosage is your order, available, time, quantity. Remember, your available and quantity always goes together. Right there, right there. You see that? Boom. Your quantity is there. It's always going to be in the milliliter. Wherever unit goes side by side with that quantity, this is what we call your available. All right. Now, this way here, 1,000 units per hours is only your order. Right here. This 1,000 units per hour. Remember when I explained earlier, I say do not confuse milliliter per hour with those stuff. That was a reason I was telling you that one. So do not confuse those stuff. All right, because if you confuse them, it's not gonna be good. So you get your calculator and let it get you down. So if you know now, here we have one. Your order must be per hour. So I have 1,000 units per hour. That is your order. I'm going to divide that by the value. You see, You have a unit there, you need your variable to be in the unit as well. So I put 25,000. I don't like to divide. I love to multiply then divide. All right. So that 1,000, that is your order. This 25,000 each are available, and 250, that is your quantity. So you get your calculator right there, and then you want it to be a whole number unless they tell you otherwise. So we got 1,000. I multiply that by 250. Then I divide that by 20. Don't add more zeros. So you got 10. You see? 1,000 times 250. Times 250. Then divide that by 25,000. So we got 10 units. So this 10 unit right there is 10 unit, is a 10 milliliter per hour. We got it? All right. So let's keep going. Let's move on. But remember, you need to identify this game. It's the game of the dosage versus order. Anytime they're looking at milliliter per hour, that's the only time you're going to solve for dosage. But if you're not looking for milliliter per hour, you're going to be on the order. So let's keep going. We go on number 2. Boom. Number 2, we are looking at milliliter per hour. So you know you're still at the dosage side. Okay? So you need 3 data: your order, your available, and quantity. You know 80 milligram right here. 200. This each you available, that one is your quantity. They always goes together. 40 milligram per hours. This is your order. Remember what I explained earlier. Don't confuse milliliter per hour with the gram per hours, milligram per hours, because those stuff are your order. Boom, that is your order. So you gotta do your dosage formula, which is your order, which is 40 milligrams. Just make sure you have a milligram here. Make sure you are available, you have a milligram too. So you got 40 times quantity, which is 200, and divided that by 80. So use your calculator. We go down there, 40 times 200 divided that by 80. Boom, you have 100 milliliter per hour. All right. All right. Let's move on. I heard you guys, you said, Mr. Z, don't be giving so 110,000 exercise. You know, practice make perfect. We cannot run away from it. Right here they say, what is the dosage in milligram per hour? Boom. Gotta be careful. Here, we are not looking for milliliter per hour, but we are looking for milligram per hour. I said, the only time you're going to use dosage, if the question asks milliliter per hour, make sure you read. It's not because you see per hour, you are thinking you're dealing with the milliliter. No. If you are not looking for milliliter per hour, you will be at the older side. You still need your available and quantity. Right here, those stuff always goes together. See that? That is your available, that is your quantity. The common mistake students make is to call this one here the data, the order that they're going to plug that in. No, you cannot do that. You cannot do that. Because we talk about it, milliliter per hour, we use dosage to solve for it. But if they've already give you milliliter per hour, why would you use the same dosage formula to go look for the same thing that is part of your problem? You cannot do that. So this milliliter per hour is your dosage. Now, because we are looking at milligram per hour, you gotta make sure that one is per hour as well. Make sure that your available is also in what we are looking for. So here, we're gonna do dosage, time available divided by quantity. So your dosage is 16, multiplied by available, which is 200 milligram, and divided by quantity, which is 250. All right, get your calculator. So we got 16 times 200 and divided by 250. All right? This, it does not need to be a whole number. All right? It may be a 10, it may be a whole number. Now, if they don't tell you to round, you may decide to round or you may leave that like that. All right? So they didn't tell us to round, so we can put that just 12.8, we can put that 13. We'll see how it go. All right. But remember, if you put that as a 12.8, you will be correct. This is it's your order. It does not have to be a whole number. I hope one day when you take a question over stuff like this, they will give you a instruction of where to run. So we good? All right. So let's move on. Don't give up. Don't run away. So we are on number 4. It's only 10 questions. It's not 100. It's only 10. All right. So now, what are we looking? Milliliter per hour. You see that again? Milliliter per hour. We are back there at the dosage. So anytime you are looking at milliliter per hour, that's your dosage. So, 4 grams in 500. So this is your available, and that is your quantity. Your quantity always going to be in the milliliter. Now, because my available is a gram, you have to make sure your order is in a gram as well. So here, I'm looking for my dosage. How? Because they're asking milliliter per hour. So I'm going to do my order, which is a gram per hour, right there. This is your order. You're going to multiply that by quantity, which is 500 milliliter, and then you're going to divide it out by 4 grams. All right, so when you do 500 divided by 4, in case you don't know, is 125, but because you don't believe, let me do it right there. 125 milliliter per hour. All right, 125. So let's move on. Next one, let's read again. You need to identify what you are looking. In this question here, I am looking milligram per hour. You see? So milligram per hour, it's not the dosage that you are looking. You're just looking for your order. But remember, that milligram can be gram per hour. It can be microgram per hour. It can be unit per hour. It can be MEQ per hour. Just make sure if it's a milligram per hour, your available gotta be in the milligram. If it's a unit there, your available gotta be in the unit. If it's a gram, it gotta be in the gram. If it's MEQ, it gotta be MEQ. If it's microgram, it gotta be microgram. You cannot solve dosage here because dosage is already given to you. So you are looking for your order. So we're gonna do 10 milliliter, which is your dosage, multiplied by your available, and your available is right there, 400, and then divide this by quantity, which is 250. All right, so you go 10 times 400 and divide by 250. Boom. Now you got 16 milligram per hour. Hopefully this is going to help some of you. So now we move on to the next one. Now read the question. At what rate will the nurse set the infusion pump? All right. No one is talking about milliliter per hour. But you have to remember, we talk about it, that milliliter per hour is the same thing as a pump rate, flow rate, and infusion rate. You cannot hang yourself in this question, you're looking for milliliter per hour. No, this right here, at what rate? You know the rate of the pump, it's always a milliliter per hour, right? So you know, this right here, I'm gonna be on the dosage side. This is your available. That one is your quantity. Whatever that has per hours or per minute, it will be your order, except for milliliter per hours or milliliter per minute. So we're gonna do our order, which is 0.5. We're going to multiply that by quantity, which is 50. But Mr. Siba, how do you know quantity? Papa, the quantity must be in the milliliter. I said that many times, milliliter. You cannot call 25 milligram your quantity. No. Cannot do that. So divide this one here now by your available, which is 25. Now, let's go down there. You got 0.5 times 50. Now divide that by 25. Now you have 1. You see? Hey. So practice change people perception. So now we are on the 7. All right? So let's see what we're looking for here. Right here, how many milliliter per hour? It means what? We are still looking for dosage. Anytime you see milliliter, not per hours, but when you see milliliter per hour, you're looking for dosage. Be careful of that word before per hours. That's why the students are making a lot of mistakes. They just see per hour, they jump to conclusion thinking that is a dosage. No. For you to be on the dosage side, you gotta say milliliter. If it does not say milliliter per hour, it's going to be on your older side when we're dealing with the infusion rate. So now here, unit, that is your order. Because my order is the unit, you need your available tool to be right there in the unit. Be careful, because sometimes they can set you up. They just want to check to make sure that you are paying attention on what you are doing. They can give you the order in the unit, when they come here, they give you available in the milligram. You cannot solve a type of question like that. There's a mistake. You cannot solve a type of question like that. So this is your order. You're going to do 6 multiplied by quantity, which is 750, divided that by available. But Mr. Z, why you did not use that one? Oh, I cannot use the order. I keep telling you. And for you to solve a dosage, you must look for milliliter per hour. That's it. If the question is looking for milliliter per hour, yes, sir. It means we're going to be on the dosage side. So now, we'll be right there. We'll do 6 times 750 divided by 400. Now we got 11.25. But read again. They say, round your answer to the nearest 10. Because I have 11.25, my 10th place is 2. That's the first rule of rounding. Identify your 10th place. That is the first number after the decimal point. Second rule, before you can draw a conclusion, look at the number that comes immediately where you're supposed to stop. That number is 5. Because that number is 5 or more, I'm going to bring this number up. So I'm going to add that 1, so it will become 11.3. So if you did not read, they say round to the nearest 10, you see, you get the 0 right there. So now it become 11.3. So now we are on number 8. So let's look at what number 8 has. So see, we are looking milligram per hour. So that milligram per hour, my friend, it can be unit per hour. It can be microgram per hour. The way you're going to solve them is the same. So right here, I'm looking for my order. So your order equal dosage. My dosage there. Because I'm looking milligram per hour, my dosage gotta be per hour. So I got 52. Multiply by available. The available is the number that goes side by side with that quantity right there. Okay, so 500 milliliter having 600 milligrams. So that's my available. But just make sure, because you are looking milligram, your available gotta be in the milligram. If your available was in the gram, you have to convert that to milligram. Now my quantity right there, it's milliliter, it's 500. So get your calculator, you got 52 times 600, then divide by 500. You got 62.4. So let's go down there. So we got 52 times, that is your dosage. You go multiply that by quantity, by available, which is 600, and divide that by quantity, which is 500. You got 62.2. They say round to the nearest 10. So you cannot put that as a 62, no, because they say round to the nearest 10, so it will be 62.4. 5.4. All right. So now move on now. Question 9. We're almost there. So now, question 9, as you look at it, you say how many milliliter per hour. So you know milliliter per hour, you are looking for your dosage. Your dosage equal odor, time quantity divided by available. So you gotta identify your this, they always run together. Boom. This is my available, that is my quantity. My odor is 20 milligram. So when I multiply that by 100, I divide that by 100, it's going to be 20. All right? But Mr. Simba, why you multiply by 100 divide by 100? Oh, it's not me. They give me, it's part of the problem. That 100 is there, another 100 there. That is your quantity, that is your available. You cannot, it's right there, it's right there, it's right there, right there, right there. So 20 times 100 divided by 100, so you got 20. I said, this is, my dear friend, how you can do. Once you understand this concept, you will be in the better shape to solve any type of question. Because this is why you that lay your foundation. You see, milliliter per hour. So you know, anytime you see milliliter per hour, if you cannot do volume over time, you will do dosage. Now, your available and the quantity always goes together. Your quantity is going to be in the milliliter right there. If it's not in the milliliter, it's your job to convert that to milliliter. Just remember that. Now, whatever number that goes together with that one, it's going to be your available. Boom, that is your available, that is your quantity. Whatever remains there is your own. Then if this thing is bothering you, get your thumb, hide the edge. So if you hide the edge, you're gonna see it's on the layout of a simple dosage calculation. So now we're gonna do 1300 because it's your order. You're going to multiply that by quantity, which is 250, divided that by your available, which is 25,000. You see, the game that we play today is this a game of dosage or your own. So 250 and divided that by, the common mistake is student to add more zero. So we got 13. You go put the 13 right there and boom. And once you submit your answer, you see, you got 100. So those stuff are not really hard. It's something that it requires practice. Invest more time. Invest the time. By doing like that, yeah, you will do great. But just don't forget the big difference. As we are closing this section, remember your dosage is only whenever you are looking for milliliter per hour for the infusion. Only that's where you're going to be order, available, time, quantity. How you will know this is your order? Your order will be expressed as gram per hour or milligram per hours or microgram per hours or unit per hours or MEQ per hour. These order right there can have a sibling as well. All right? Before you do anything, you gotta make sure that your order is in one of this shape. If it's not, example, they give you your order in a gram per kilogram per hour. It means what? You have to multiply that by the weight because this amount of medication is given according to the person's body weight per hour. So every hour we are giving 1 gram per kilogram. So you have to know that person's weight. All right. So you're gonna multiply that by the weight. This is how you're gonna take this right here back to gram per hour. This is what you want your order to be. If instead of a gram per hour, they give you gram per minute. Well, the medication, your pump, it's not set up per minute, but your pump, it is set up per hour. So you will have to convert to this one here to gram per hour. It's a must. How do you do that? Example, if you have a 2 gram per minute, to convert to this to gram per hour, multiply the number on the top by 60. You don't want to ask question where the 60 come from. Even if I explain to you now, we're going to spend all day. Just learn it, listen to me, you're always going to be well on this way. If you got gram per minute, you cannot use that like that because your pump is per hour. Multiply the number on the top by 60. By doing like that, you will have 120 milligram per hour. Now you're going to use that number to multiply that by quantity divided by available. Sometimes they will give you gram per kilogram per minute. All right? So you have to multiply this first of all, like we did over there. Multiply that by the weight in the kilogram. After you multiply by the weight in the kilogram, you have to multiply that again by 60 because we have to take that back to gram per hour. All right? So we're going to cover those stuff another day. Invest the time, practice. I believe you do well. All right? Take care of yourself. Don't forget, you gotta take care of each other. You cannot be right there. If we live in this world by yourself, what you gonna do? If you know someone that need help, be there to help. All right? Take care of yourself. Don't forget. And don't forget to take care of other people as well. Until next time, God bless you. Bye-bye.